Good morning. You might have noticed that I'm not in my usual spot today. I'm actually out camping, and there are a lot of things I love about camping. The quiet, the peacefulness, the fact that I can throw a pair of overalls over a set of long johns and this is considered perfectly fine outside clothes. Boba really likes camping too, as you can tell. Yes? Okay. I figured since I was out here that it would be nice to bring you along on a day of camp cooking with me. There's a lot of things that you can learn about cooking over a fire, and a lot of things that you can bring back home with you as far as cooking skills go. Is this going to be a regular series? I don't know. I would like it to be. If you would like it to be, let me know in the comments. So I guess there's really nothing else to do than just to get the fire going and get breakfast started. Let's go. Boba, you coming? Okay. Are you coming or what? Well, come on. Come on. Let's go potty. Boba, come outside. Come on, let's go. No, that is not the way. Come on. The first thing we're gonna do is get a fire started. I am not a survivalist. I'm going to use the easiest way possible to do this because the point of this is not to survive, but to thrive. So, okay. All right. When building a fire for cooking, how you get it started doesn't really matter in this case. Just as long as you have a good side that will be not as hot and a side that will be really hot. I've got some cured firewood in here. It'll burn really nice and quickly. And I've got some fire starter. And because I'm a chef, I also have a blowtorch. I really like to bring things like squashes camping with me. Not only do they not need to be refrigerated and take up any of your cooler space, but they're super robust and take to a lot of different kinds of cooking. You can stew them, you can roast them, you can grill them. So many different ways to cook this, and it's really versatile. It works for sweet things and it works for savory things. The only thing that's a little bit more difficult with squashes and pumpkins is that they're harder to cut. You're not gonna bring your best knives out camping with you. So oftentimes using dull knives on things like these can lead to injury, which is why instead of a knife, you can use a hatchet. There you go. I feel like Bradley Thorenson, or whatever his name is. Scoop out the seeds and you can just toss these into the fire. If you want to spend the time to roast these, you can do that too. Now, so they cook easily, I'm just gonna cut these down into smaller little bites. Obviously, we're out camping, things are gonna be rustic. I'm not really worried about clean cuts. We're more worried about even sizing. We're gonna grill these and then put them into oatmeal. So I'm gonna do even smaller pieces. And the only reason why I'm being a little gentle on it right now is because I don't wanna, cut the table. There we go. Another handy tool to have while camping are these welder's gloves. They're literally gloves for welding, but obviously as a result, they're pretty, they're pretty fire resistant. They're good for handling things in the fire, turning skewers for kebabs and stuff like that. Why did I say kebab like a person from New Zealand? Kebab. Another good thing about squashes and pumpkins is that they're super resilient. Cooking them skin side down protects them a little bit. You can always scrape off like the super charred burn pieces later. And a little bit of spray oil makes that part easy for us. While that's going, I'm gonna get started on the second part of this fire. This is a cast iron pedestal for cooking pots and stuff inside campfires. Just gonna borrow some of these guys here. This is a Lodge Cook-It-All. Basically is a combination stock pot, cauldron, frying pan thing, as well as a griddle with a grill underneath. I don't use the grill very much, but I do use the griddle a lot. So it is pretty much the thing that I use 90% of the time. Unsponsored, but very useful. These things are for you to grab onto the sides. I use this for all of my soups and stews and curries, and I use this for like my steaks and stuff. One thing that I don't really like using for this is eggs. I've got like a ceramic nonstick camping frying pan that I prefer to use that for. But otherwise, 90% of my stuff is cooked in this. And it fits perfectly on the pedestal, wouldn't you know it? Because of the surface area, this will evaporate much more quickly, so you'll need more water than you're normally used to in a kitchen. And at this point, you can add a little bit of vanilla extract and some honey if you like. But for me, the natural sweetness is gonna come from a bunch of these kabocha squashes, and the rest will go to boba. The purely grilled kabocha squash is sweet, it's smoky, it's delicious, no salt. I generally tend not to season a lot of my foods when I'm camping because I try to go on a little bit of like a sugar saltiness reset and just try to get all my sweetness from the food that I make. But that includes bacon, so, you know, trying to do too much. And also, I like to cook for my dog too, so less salt, less sugar, meaning that she can eat more of the foods that I make as well. Okay, so before I get started on lunch, we have to do some things to prepare for dinner first. If you've seen some of my videos from the Bali series, I had made some boom boom Bali, which is a Balinese curry paste or a Balinese spice. It's not really a curry paste, but it is a base for Balinese curry. It is also the base for some things like Balinese duck, like bebek bututu, as well as satay, which is what we're going to do today. I've got some pork belly with me, and we're just going to marinate it in this boom boom Bali for a while, and then just put that on the grill once it comes time to have dinner. Now, satay is commonly seen in a lot of Thai restaurants, but it actually originated from Bali. And while you see ingredients like chicken and beef being used a lot, pork belly is less common. And while I learned how to make this in Bali, I don't know whether or not this specific use of pork belly is specific to Balinese cuisine, Indonesian cuisine, or the chef that I learned it from, Chef Ari. But either way, pork belly satay with Balinese spice is delicious. So we've got some really nice thick pieces of pork belly here. I got these from the Chinese grocery store. They tend to like cut them into ways that is preferable to making Chinese pork belly, and that's perfect for satay. You want your cuts to be pretty evenly sized because as this is going on the flames, you want them all to cook within the same amount of time. Now, I guess you could just marinate the pork belly in one piece in the Balinese spice, but that being said, when it comes to marinating meat, more surface area in contact with your marinating spices, the better. So I'm just gonna cut them up first. I will let them marinate for a few hours, ideally overnight, but we don't have overnight, obviously. And this big honking piece of pork belly, I think, will be going to this guy right here. So we won't be marinating this piece, but it will still get eaten, trust me. So initially when I blended these, I froze them into molds and then put them into parchment paper and then froze them. They're good for a few months. This is just like lemongrass, turmeric, chilies, all that good stuff that's in there. You can watch a bunch of videos with me making them. I'm just gonna put the pork belly in this bag. I might need a bigger bag. Hold on, I've got a bigger bag. As it turns out, I do not have a bigger bag, so I guess I will be using this bowl, which is fine. I don't need this bowl for anything else today, so we're just going to mix all of this in here, get a nice coverage in it. We're just gonna let this go for as long as we can, right up until dinner time. It's 10:54 in the morning right now, so it's gonna be a good time. For lunch, I like to keep things a little light, if I have it at all. Usually a big breakfast will do. We can call this just a little snack if we want to. Starting off, we're just gonna line the pan with a little bit of tallow. Just give it a good coating so it gets nice and slick. And of course you could bring your own bread, but I really like bringing pizza dough. Raw pizza dough that I buy from my friend's pizza shop. His name's Dave Mancini, and he owns a pizza shop in Detroit called Supino's. And he has a location in a place called New Center, or he just sells you pizza dough. I just like to bring it with me and use it to make flatbread. And it's pretty easy. You can do it like a regular pizza dough where you just stretch it with your knuckles like so. But in this case, I like to fold it upon itself, get some nice bubbles in there. And it's just a matter of just sticking that right over here. And now, all you need is some meat, cheeses, whatever you want. Last time I did this, I had pate with some brie. Oops. Nope. It needs a little bit more time. We'll be right back. So, what did we learn? We learned that we still need to make it as flat as possible, even if we put the layers on there, because otherwise you just end up with some raw dough in the middle, and that's no bueno. So now we got the flakiness, we got the chewiness, we got everything we want. It just takes a little bit more time. I especially like this with cheese and pate. I just didn't bring any this time. You're ready to go for a hike? It's like a walk, but more of it. Well, we're back and we've had some time to relax a little bit, and some of us are still taking their time relaxing. And now we're just gonna get the rest of the kebabs ready for dinner. Onions are really delicious just on a skewer over a fire. I kind of fell in love with these just ordering Lebanese grill on like Uber Eats or Postmates or whatever, and I just found that like the onions were always some of my favorite vegetables to use. So I've started doing that. Putting them in between meat makes the meat more flavorful. Having them in between vegetables just makes everything taste so much better. Grilled onions, elite. These are actually just baby eggplants. I found them in the grocery store on the way here, and I've tried grilling them once already, and they come out fantastic. Because they're so full of water, just like onions, they're extremely forgiving over a fire. So it's pretty simple. I just like to do it like so. And there's one. The next one I'm gonna use, also super simple, easy to find at the store, red bell peppers. And to prep bell peppers is really easy. All you do is cut off the top with the stem on it. Then you just take your hands, 3 fingers in here, like so, and just pop it out. Cut in half, and then quarter as needed. And then this part right here, it's kind of bitter, so I've heard. It's just always been my habit to just take your knife and just slice that part out. I'm gonna add a little bit of spice to this. Some serranos. We keep the seeds in because we are trying to make ourselves stronger. Always trying to be stronger and always trying to up our spice tolerance whenever we can. All right, that's good there too. All right, now the pork belly. Here we go. Beautiful marinated pork belly. And we are ready for the grill. Oh God. Okay, there we go. Ready for the grill. I don't know if I can eat all of this, but you know, after a 6-mile hike, I feel like I can do anything. Oh man, that was a very full day. Wow. We got some hiking in, we've got 3 meals done, cooked over a campfire, and I am pooped. But yeah, this looks super worth it. Okay, obviously we're gonna try the pork belly first. Praying to God that it's cooked all the way through, because it's so thick. But here we go. The moment of truth. I'm pretty sure it has to be cooked through. It was on there for so long, but it is tender. It cuts easily. It is perfect. Oh my good God. That is stunning. Holy crap. I have no words as to like how freaking good that is. I'm just gonna grab an eggplant here. And I mean, like, you know, eating all this together, because the eggplant is like still super watery, and juicy, I should say. Sweet, delicious, so good. Like, you have to just put a little bit of one and a little bit of the other. This is my favorite campfire meal. And the best part about it is, it wasn't that hard. I'm freaking exhausted after my hike. I still managed to get this all together. You can make this all ahead of time and have them on skewers and ready for you and just ready to go. Just put them in, like, you know, Ziploc bags or whatnot, or wrap them in parchment at home and then just bring them with you. The recipe for the Bali spice is on my members only post. A lot of the actual written down recipes are like posted in my member section, but I've got so many videos of me making that Balinese paste. Learn how to make it, because up to this point I have used it to make satay, curry, and next we're going to make bebek bututu with it, roasted duck. So thank you so much for joining me on this phenomenal day. It's so good now. I will see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you and good night.